Yeah, perfect.
What's up, everybody? This is episode 123 of Hoops Talk with Dave's Joint. Shout outs to everybody that's been supporting us thus far. Before we start, you know, everybody, for those who haven't seen any of our episodes, go check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and IGTV. But before we start, we got to pay some bills real quick. So, this episode is sponsored by the Player Circle. I discovered the Player Circle in the App Store when trying to find a product to track athletes. The Player Circle is a social video platform where the players can share their stats, highlights, and accomplishments. So, if you can hoop and you want to get discovered, you should join the Player Circle. Go check out this amazing app called the Player Circle on the App Store. iPhone users only. Android's coming soon. But without further ado, we have a very special guest out here. He's been a very influential part of the basketball community, especially in the city of Philadelphia, and grassroots basketball as a whole. You may have known, if you're in Philly, you may have known his tournament, the Chosen League, which has been around since 2002. Um, and he's also been involved with, people like Sonny Vaccaro and his event, the EA
Oh,
Sports
gee.
Roundball Classic. He's been involved with the Philadelphia 76ers, Mitchell and Ness, Nike, Reebok. Need I say more? Tonight, or should I say this afternoon, we have a very special guest, Mr. Raheem Thompson. Raheem, thank you for coming on, man.
Dave, thank you for letting me be a guest of yours. I mean, congratulations on the 120 episodes that you have done. To see your growth has been amazing. Because I remember when you first started out and everything like that. I remember when you first came, when we used to play outside and you came with the 10th Street. I remember I think it was on Facebook, Twitter, one of these social media platforms. You told me you was coming out. And when you came, I was like, oh, that's what's up and everything. Then the game ran late. And then remember, I was like, look, man, I got to have my people drive you to the bus station. Here's your gift pack. He was like, nah, I'm cool. I'm like, nah, you came out here. So once you came family and everything, Dave. And just to see your growth has been amazing. The guests you have had on here, it proves you're credible. You understand what I'm saying? Because of the guests that you have had on there. And you know me, since the book came out, Choose Wisely, I've been on this like kind of media tour, but I've been very selective in who I speak to. Because I want to make sure everything is authentic and nothing is like on some artificial flavor. And you have really done that, even with your Instagram page, Dave's Joint. I'd be like trying to figure out how are you finding all these old articles and everything like that. I mean, it brings memories back to me because something people don't know. I was born in New York. You understand? I didn't leave New York till I was like 13. So when you got like the Boston shootout articles on there, and you got what was it called, Harlem Week articles on there, which was one of the biggest tournaments at the time, was during Harlem Week when Aim High, Gauchos, Riverside Church. So I'm just very proud of you, Dave.
My God, I appreciate it. Yeah, we about to start. So my very first question is, when did basketball first begin for you?
Honestly, basketball really first came for me was like in 19. I was born in 76. I say like 1986. Mark Jackson rookie year when he played for the New York Knicks. That's when it really, really, really hit me. I was still living in New York at the time. The Knicks wasn't that good at the time. Congratulations to the Knicks for clinching the playoffs last night. But Rick Pitino was the head coach. So Mark Jackson was a rookie. Patrick Ewing was on that team. Trent Tucker, who was the three-point shooter. Gerald Wilkins. So that's when basketball really hit with me. But when I came to Philadelphia, it just went to another level and everything like that.
Now, you grew up in the Bronx, New York. What part of the Bronx did you grow up in, and what was the basketball culture like out there at that time?
I grew up in the South Bronx. I grew up on 172nd and Sheraton Avenue, right across the street from Taft High School. So I'm right off the Grand Concourse. Gauchos was big at the time. That's when AAU was very selective. It's not like now where everyone has an AAU team. Like Gauchos was like the Los Angeles Lakers, the Kentucky basketball. They was the blue star. They was the 5-star of AAU basketball at the time. They had their own gym. They had the jackets. They had the trophies. They had the gear. They was traveling all over the place. Lou Diamio was just like he had made something. And actually, that was like the time when like the business of basketball kicked in with me. But as I got older, my mother really embedded that in me and everything like that.
Yeah, man. Claremont, Mount Eden area, man. Very historic area. And then
Very,
Taft, as we already know, wasn't one of it was one of one of the roughest schools in New York City,
it was
probably
the
at that
area,
time.
exactly. That's the thing. But growing up there, you don't realize what it is because that's the everyday life. You understand what I'm saying? Like living in the neighborhood, you
Yeah.
don't realize that until you move and then you get older. Then you
Mm-hmm.
realize the things that you survive, but what you go through makes you who you are.
Absolutely. That's a fact. So, what were some of your favorite basketball tournaments growing up?
Some of my favorite basketball tournaments growing up, like I was talking to you before we went on air,
Mm,
Harlem Week in New York used to be off the chain because it would be Riverside Church, it would be the Gauchos, it'd be Aim High, it would be like this, the New Jersey Roadrunners at the time. It would be these programs that would just pop it. Then when I came to Philadelphia, it would be 16th and Susquehanna, it would be Sunny Hill League, it would be leagues like that it would be the Baker League, it would be the College League, it would be. I mean, I just been blessed to experience a lot of basketball in my life and everything like that, and that's what made me write my book Choose Wisely because it's more on the fact of like there's a lot of opportunity, there's more opportunities off the court than there is on the court.
mm-hmm. Exactly. Indeed. So, when did you actually move to Philly?
I moved to Philly when I was 13 years old, and the reason I moved to Philly was on a spiritual quest
Mm,
that my mother was on, because
okay.
I've been raised in African-based religions my whole time. As you know, I'm a priest in the Voodoo religion, which has this
Okay.
stigma of a lot of negativity, but it's not that. It's our roots. It's from our ancestors and stuff like that. So my mother and her spiritual quest. 'Cause my mother's a New Yorker, born in
Okay.
Queens. You understand what I'm saying? Like she didn't want to come to Philadelphia at first. It took her
Mm-hmm.
3 years to get to Philadelphia. But coming to Philadelphia is one of the best things that ever happened for our family. You understand? Because like I was born deaf with a broken foot, Dave. We've been
Oh,
homeless multiple times.
oh
When we got
man.
to Philadelphia, our storage place was robbed immediately. You understand what I'm saying? So there was a
Mm,
lot of obstacles we had to overcome. And like sitting here in this house that we have now, I mean, this is the beginning of the legacy for my daughters. You understand?
mm-hmm.
Which is her
Absolutely.
grandchildren. Like my daughters don't understand what it means to be hungry. Like when they say they hungry, I look at them like they crazy. I'm like, you don't know what hunger is. You understand what I'm
Mm,
saying? Like we lived in abandoned buildings. So to have running water, to have electricity, to have the option of what we want to eat and everything like that, that's just a blessing. And that's the
yeah.
type of stuff that keeps me even killed, but it keeps me moving forward and everything. That's why when I come up to New York, when I come to New York, it's like, I don't know what y'all do. It's like y'all send out a text, Raheem is here. And everybody seems to pop up in the park, whether it's Dykeman, whether it's Gersh. They're like, well, Raheem coming up here. And when I come in, I'm talking
Mm,
trash from the rip because,
yeah.
the New York Philly battles
Yeah.
are legendary battles because they're just legendary battles. And one thing about it, respect to Kenny, respect to
Mm,
DP, Gersh, Dykeman, those are my people. Respect to Greg, may he rest in peace.
mm,
Greg was like damn near a mentor of mine from EBC. You understand?
yeah.
So, and he laid the groundwork for a lot of what we do today with all of Summer League directors across the country, from here to DC to California, Chicago, wherever.
Yeah, man. Most definitely. And not you talking about abandoned buildings, man. I'm thinking about the '90s and that time when I see movies from those days. I'm like, wow, like
You
the
talking about the
world has come.
80s with me. We not even talking about the 90s. We talk about the 80s when I was in New York. We talk about
Whew,
at the beginning of the crack epidemic.
yo,
Like we used to live on 123rd Street, and we used to live in an abandoned building where
yo,
my mother cousin had access to this abandoned building. So he
mm,
used to run electricity and everything like that. And we used to have to like boil the water. And my mom went to work every day. You understand what I'm saying? Like my mom wasn't no bum or nothing like that. My mom was
mm,
a strong black woman, was a single black woman raising two black children. And she would not allow us to use that as an excuse because her faith in God was so strong. And
yeah,
because of her faith in God, that's why my faith is the way I am. That's why I dedicate everything to my mother. Like all my success between my mother and my godmother and the way they raised me and reared me, I I I would never want I wouldn't say I would trade places with anybody. You have heard me say that before. I
Yeah.
wouldn't trade places with nobody because
Yeah.
I know the path God put me on will help others. And I know I've inspired a lot of people. You understand? Remember, I done had conversations with you among your crew. Y'all have talking like everybody, you know, I'm one of these OGs out here that shares the knowledge because I feel like I want the ones coming behind me to do better than what I'm doing. Like if I'm the worst one in the room, that means we got a pretty good team. You understand what I'm saying? I don't always want to be the best one in the room because I'm still learning. You understand? I might be 44, but I'm still learning. You understand? Like we got to understand something. Life is all about growing.
It's a fact, man. It's a fact. But yeah, moving on to high school. You went to Alney High School, man. Talk about your high school years.
All right, now this is the crazy thing, Dave. I went to Alney High School for 1 year. But when I moved to Philadelphia, first of all, I started off at Humanities High School in New York. So we moved to Philadelphia. When we moved to Philadelphia, like I told you, our stuff was stolen from the truck from our storage unit we had. So all my school records was gone. So I didn't get to school here in Philadelphia until like February. And I went to community high school, which is the original alternative high school, which you now call a charter school, a magnet school, whatever you want to call it. So I went there for 2 years. So then my 11th grade year, the summer before my 11th grade year, I started playing Sunny Hill basketball. So on Sunny Hill basketball, the team I played for used to be Rasheed Wallace's team. They were spanking everybody before I got there. So they all moved up to the Wilt Chamberlain division. When they moved up to the Wilt Chamberlain division, it's Rasheed Wallace, Tyrone Weeks, who was all state, all city, went to UMass, one of John Calipari original recruits that made that change and everything. Terry Johnson, cousin Jerome Allen at the University of Penn, and a bunch of other dudes. So then I went to Omni High School. Omni High School at the time, Jason Lawson, top 100 in the country, who was Rasheed Wallace's rival in summer basketball. You understand what I'm saying? But remember, Philly, we just like New York, we click together. We might have issues within, but when we dealing with outside, we together. So when I got to Omni High School, it wasn't like I was some star recruit coming in there or I had a spot guaranteed on the team. That was the neighborhood high school where I was living at. When I got there, I had to earn my spot. And it was one of the most amazing years of my life. I got a chance to see Rolly Massimino, rest in peace, come in the gym. Jerry Tarkanian, rest in peace, come. You know, Jason was being recruited. So when these college coaches would come in, I was just amazed just to be playing in front of them. And then we made to the Final Four, and we played in the old Civic Center. We lost to Rasheed Wallace and them, but Rasheed was #1 in the country. So I mean, it was an amazing experience, but it also opened my eyes to the opportunities that was available off the court.
Wow, that's pretty dope, man. Now talk about, them games against Simon Gratz.
Man, the first time we played Simon Gratz, okay, we played them on a Saturday at Simon Gratz after they officially became the #1 team in the country. They had just beat Jahadi White and them in St. Louis. Now, Simon Gratz sneaker sponsor, you would never guess who it was. It was K-Swiss. So everyone that was anybody that was in the city was a hooper was wearing K-Swiss. We happened to have a deal with Reebok. Reebok at the time, I think it was the Reebok Dunks or something like that. They wasn't the ones with the bubble. This is when Reebok was just coming up in basketball and everything like that. So when we played them the first time, we played them at Simon Gratz on a Saturday afternoon. The gym is packed. Now, mind you, Simon Gratz, they was a team that was from 1 through 10. Rasheed only played about maybe 20 minutes a game, if that. They had Rasheed Wallace, which you know of, Lennar Stewart, who went to Temple, Rondell Turner, who committed to Rhode Island. Life caught up to him, but Rondell Turner arguably was the best player on that team. You talk about a 6'8", 3-man that could shoot it, put it on the floor, rebound, defend. He used to give Rasheed a headache. You understand what I'm saying? Sean Red Smith, who was the point guard, he was the point guard. He went to LaSalle. Jamal Redmond, who was a corner 3-point, they got PJ Tucker. He went to Coppin State. Terrell Stokes, who went to Maryland. Michael Blunt, who was a killer. Brian Samuels, who was a killer. So their team was just amazing. And when we played them the second time at the Civic Center for the public league Final Four, it was just like you just seeing greatness in you. and you see the work people put in. And the thing about their coach, Bill Ellaby, he was legendary. Them guys used to have to run cross country before the season started. I don't even know if teams even do that anymore.
Wow. He had them running.
Cross country, it was a mandate for Simon Grass for you to run cross country before you can even, you had to run cross country in the fall before you played in the wintertime because they used to press. So he didn't want his players out of breath. He wanted them to be in top shape condition.
Mm-hmm. Now, what were the Catholic schools like at that time? Like Roman?
Oh, Roman was tough. Roman was, well, see the Newman Gorettis that you see now, and like the Cardinal, the Newman Gorettis, the Cardinal Harris that had their runs and everything. It was Roman Catholic at the time. Roman Catholic was just Roman Catholic. Like they had Mark Jackson at that time. After Mark Jackson left, they had Rasul Butler. So Roman Catholic has always been the flag bearer of Catholic League basketball here in Philadelphia. But now we got the Archbishop Woods, we got the Newman Gorettis. Like what Wood is doing with John Moscow is amazing. What Carr has done at Newman Goretti is amazing. But the crazy thing about it was John, who's the head coach at Wood, used to coach at Newman. You understand? He was the assistant coach there for a long time. So just to see the Philadelphia basketball scene, to see it grow, because at that time, we didn't have a lot of guys in the league at that time when I was coming up, like Lionel Simmons, Doug Overton, Randy Woods. It was Rasheed Class that started this era of Philly guys going to the league, going first round, getting, all Americans and everything like that. Because at the time when I was growing up, the scene was just getting rejuvenated. That's the best word I could say.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's cool, man. And at that time, I'm trying to think. Okay, the 90s. You guys had Charles Barkley with the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how often did you get to go to the Palestra at that time? I'm sorry, no, the Spectrum.
I think it was, I went to the Spectrum maybe 7 or 10 times during my youth. So seeing Charles Barkley play was good, but the Sixers was never a contending team. You understand what I'm saying? Like Charles, that's why he ended up getting traded to Phoenix. He got tired of Harold Katz, who was the owner at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and going to the Spectrum was like, it was a big to do because it's an NBA game, but you're going to an NBA game that really don't have no rhyme or reason to it. It's just a game. It's not like it's playoff aspirations. And I'm not even talking about championship aspirations. I'm talking about playoff aspirations. Because at one point, we had Armin Gilliam, used to wear the Gumby, used to go to UNLV, who was like a bucket, like 16, 17 a game, but then you lose it. You got Willie Burton, Richard Dumas, Vernon Maxwell after he leaves Phoenix. You understand what I'm saying? Dana Barrows and all these guys. So when Allen Iverson came in 96, when he came in 96, it just brought the whole, it was like, that was the piece of the Philly scene. Like, unlike New York, like, there's no disrespect. The Knicks haven't won a championship in God knows when.
40 plus years.
Right. So the Knicks, but New York has this college scene, high school scene. Basketball is embedded in New York, like it's embedded here in Philadelphia.
Right.
But one thing about Philadelphia is our basketball community is really one. So the Sixers are tied up in a lot of things we do in the community. Like, remember, the Sixers are sponsors of my league. And before that, they were sponsors of the Sunny Hill League. Right. So it's one family, one fraternity that's all together.
Right. No, and I've always noticed that, there's a lot more unity in Philly. New York is just too much of everything going on. We have 2 NBA programs. We have 2 Major League Baseball. I'm sorry, I don't say programs. Like 2 NBA teams.
Oh, y'all do. Y'all got the Nets and the Knicks.
You got Mets, 2, right?
Yankees, the Rangers, the Islanders,
right?
St. John's, and this Syracuse is upstate. But
New York City. All right, New York City. We don't count Syracuse. They upstate New York. But yeah, we got 7 Division I programs, 2 NBA teams, 2 Major League Baseball teams, 2 football teams, 2 hockey teams. It's just too much going on. You know what I'm saying? Everything is in New York City. And yeah, if you want to count upstate New York, there's Syracuse.
But the only reason I bring up Syracuse because Syracuse is like the home team for New York. It's like when kids get recruited, they're gonna go upstate. And I've been to Syracuse, and there's nothing to do up there but Syracuse.
Yeah, I mean, unless you
University.
want to go to that big mall, then
Right.
you got that, and then you got the Syracuse, the minor league baseball team. I mean,
Right.
but other than that, yeah, you got the bricks. Crime is high up in Cuse, so
Yeah, the whole upstate New York, that's a whole nother hood.
yeah,
Yeah.
they make us look like royalty.
You ain't lying.
Nah, I'm serious. Like, you think living in the Bronx is bad? Just wait until you go to Syracuse and Rochester. That's the real struggle over there. That's poverty. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
because poverty, because remember, they don't have nothing.
They don't.
They don't have nothing to go to like that. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what happens. When you don't have outlets like that, negativity will creep in and have a significant effect.
Exactly. But yeah, shout outs to the Albany High School graduating class of 1993.
Yes, sir. No, I'm 94. 93, Jay Lawson, I'm 94. So you talk about my man, Damani. Let me give a shout out to them. My man, Damani Harper, Jason Lawson, Baldy, class of 93. But I'm class of, and then the crazy part, that's the thing I was continuing to tell you, was I only played 1 year at Albany. And that's what I talk about in the book. And then me and the coach, we had a little situation because it was like when the season was over, I took a break. Everybody in the team took a break.
Right.
Next thing I know, they playing in some spring league. So when I come to the game, the kid, my number was 31. I see someone with my jersey. I'm like, yo, give me my jersey. I get my jersey. I get ready to come out on the court. The coach come out, tries to embarrass me, scream me in front of the whole gym. What you doing? That's my uniform, son. Who told you? And I'm looking at him. I'm like, yo, I'm here with 3 other dudes that was on the team. They ain't been to practice since the season been over. They told me come to the game. I didn't even know this was going on. And then when I go, you trying to embarrass me in front of a whole gym. So I snapped out. And my mom and godmom, they was mad at me about the words I used, but they wasn't mad about the actions that I did because I had to defend myself and everything like that. And that's something I talk about in the book, which is available on Amazon. It's about getting knocked down, but getting up and standing up for yourself. And that was like the beginning of me standing up for myself. Then my senior year, basically what happened was, long story short, the coach, I was in one of his classes. My grade in his class went from like a B to a D all of a sudden.
What? Yo, so that teacher had it out. That teacher / coach had it out.
Wow. But after that happened, it almost affected me getting into the work study program, which I was trying to get into for my senior year, where I would go to school for half the day and I would work the other half of the day. But God works in mysterious ways. The guy that was in charge of the work study program happened to see how my grade just dropped. So during my interview process, I told him what happened. So when it was time for me to get accepted, he had already called the school and told them, look, man, y'all got to get on top of this. So when my mom came into the school to talk to the teacher, everything was already handled. That's why I always tell people, you got to be transparent with people. You got to be honest. So because in case something happened, you can get yourself jammed up and you won't have nobody support you to tell the truth of what happens.
Exactly. Wow, man, that's crazy. It's crazy how adults like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, whenever you call them out or whatever, it's crazy how much power certain people have that could ruin lives. You know what I'm saying? And some people, they do it intentionally.
And that's and like you said, that's the crazy part about it, because it's like, that's why I help those that come through my path, because I know what it's like growing up looking for help. And then you go ask somebody for help and they like flag you off, or they make you wait, or like they do
they'll give you the runaround,
some nut shit, as we say in Philly.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got this, you've been through it. Like, for instance, I don't want my children to be homeless. I don't believe that they need to go through what I went through to learn the lesson. I believe since I've been through it, I should be able to teach you so you don't have to go through it. And then you can elevate. And then when you have children or some young people that come your way, you can teach them, and we can continue to elevate. And that's one thing, a problem that we have had in the Black community for a long time, is the crabs in the barrel mentality. Because the reason the crabs in the barrel mentality, people don't even get, crabs ain't supposed to be in barrels. So when they get in there, they all fighting to try to get out. But if they all work together, they could use their weight and knock the basket over, and we can all get out.
Yeah. That's very true, man. Now, a couple of years after high school, and I think I seen this on your page. You did something with USA basketball, or attempted to do something with USA basketball.
Craziest story ever, Dave.
All right, I'll let you tell it.
All right, so it's 1996. This is the year when the beginning of my basketball career starts. My business of basketball career starts. I'm reading I'm reading Slam magazine. Slam magazine is just coming out. Shout out to Dennis, Ronnie, Skuro, Ben, Chris Stone, the original Slam crew, and everything like that. I'm here in New York. I'm here in Philadelphia. I get to the back of the magazine. Now, you know, Slam and Double XL are all in these Harris publication. So I'm reading the magazine and I see that Slam is looking for some promotional intern, but it wasn't intern. I forget what the word was, but it's some promotional reps they looking for the city in different cities around the country. So remember, this is before the email, the Zoom. I have to get on a typewriter and type all this stuff up. Type up my letter, send it to New York. Maybe a month later, I get this letter back. From Slam. Hold on, I'm gonna read it to you.
Oh, it's in the book. Wow.
So the letter says, "Dear Team Slam member, this is June 13, 1995. I'm writing you, dear Team Slam member. I'm writing you on behalf of Ronnie Zadell and Slam Magazine. Your interest in Slam is greatly appreciated. We at Slam just got anxious. Let me take off my glasses. Just got anxious to get the ball rolling as you are. Our main objective is to expose as many people and players as possible to Slam, the in-your-face basketball magazine. The promotional game plan will help not only to enhance the magazine, but will help give you valuable experience in the marketing and promotions aspects of the sports industry. It will be up to you to voluntarily locate basketball games or tournaments in your area, whether they on the high school or collegiate levels to promote Slam. Promoting will include going to these various games and tournaments and handing out stickers or hanging up banners that we will supply for the events that you choose to attend. The events should be ones that you feel will be a considerable amount in attendance. Other aspects of the projects will involve obtaining the name of coaches whose teams will be participating and informing them on the goals of our project and how they could benefit. If you are interested in becoming an integral part of the team, feel free to fax me any information on upcoming games at 212-620-7787 or call me at any time at 212-462-9593 with any questions that you might have. I look forward to getting the ball rolling and making Team Slam a huge success. Sincerely, Spiro Morales. So I get that letter. This is 1995. I get that letter. When I get that letter, it's on and popping for me. I get my mom when she go to work to fax over the letter to them. Next thing I know, I got all these magazines, stickers, posters, T-shirts, a whole promo. This back in the day when you might have heard Street Team promotion. Bad Boy, all the record labels did it. So I go on a tear through the Philadelphia basketball community. I come to Slam God. Any major event, I'm there. I call the people, let them know I'm coming, or I pop up. I got all this promo stuff, people letting you in. You got magazines, stickers. This is not the norm at the time. So I come to Slam God. Fast forward to 1996. Get to 1996, go on my first family vacation. We're going to Disney World. Never been to Disney World a day in my life. Best thing that ever happened with me. Allen Iverson just got drafted #1 by the 76ers. I'm a year in with Slam. Something tells me, take that letter with you when you go to Orlando. So I put the letter in my book bag. At the airport, me and my aunt, who's an Irish woman, we together. We waiting at the gate for our flight. I see Maurice Cheeks, legendary Hall of Famer Maurice Cheeks.
Wow.
I go to Maurice Cheeks, ask for a picture. Then I ask him how he feel about Allen Iverson. He says that Allen Iverson is going to be much better than him, and he's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime basketball player. He was absolutely correct. He asked me what am I doing. I said I'm going to Florida with my aunt. So I show him my aunt, who's an Irish woman. Remember, I'm a black boy. He just looks and gets kind of weird. She starts laughing. I start laughing. We all start laughing. Get down to Orlando. going to Disney World day by day, caravans in the morning. We stay in what they call a timeshare and everything like that. I always read the newspaper. That was always my thing. I always read the newspaper. I read the newspaper. I found out the '96 Olympic team is practicing at the Disney Institute.
Wow.
This is Shaquille O'Neal. The last year he playing for Orlando. This is the summer he left to go to the Lakers. I write about it in the book. So I see that. I got this letter with me. So remember, this is before cell phones. I sneak a phone call on the phone in the villa we staying at. Sam, like, if you could do it, if you could get it done, just call us and we will verify that you with us. Go to my godmom and my mom. I'm like, look, I gotta work tomorrow. They're like, what? You gotta work tomorrow? We in Orlando. I said, look, the Olympic team is practicing at the Disney Institute. I done did my research. Sam already told me if I get over there, they will verify that I'm with them. So my godmother and my mom think about it. I come back later on, they like, go ahead, go do it. The next morning, my godfather, my godbrother, when the family goes to the park, they take me over to the joint. They take me over to the Disney Institute. I get over there, security, now mind you, I'm a young black guy. Like the only person black in media sports at the time is like Stuart Scott. This is before Stephen A. I'm talking about on a national scale. You understand what I'm saying? We talking. So when I get there, I'm like, I work for Slam. The dude looks at me all weird. Long story short, I show him the letter. He calls to where the media credential places check in at. He like, go ahead. When I get there, I get in there. I tell the lady while I'm there, blah, 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 blah. I show her that letter. If you see on the book, if you get in the book, it says Studio 9 and 10. I show her this letter. I give her the phone number of Spiro. She calls. She come back 10 minutes later. Next thing you know, baby, I'm getting this credential right here.
Wow.
Man, I walk in there, man, and Shaq, Penny, Hakeem Olajuwon, Gary Payton. Yo, you talk about Disney, where dreams come true, for real, Dave. Not only was it for that one day, it was for them 2 days. So when I go back to the villa, I'm on top of the world. I'm like, I gotta go back the next day, because the next day is their last day they practice in Orlando before they leave to go to Atlanta. Man, I see Shaq the next day. First of all, I set myself up. You gotta get the book so you can read the book. Your viewers got it because they're gonna love this. I'm set myself. I get up there early the next day. The women are practicing. I done bought a couple of my god brothers, the guys. You know how black people are. We make it a family affair. I'm like, look, y'all come on. If y'all interested, come on. Man, Cheryl Swoops is holding my niece. It's crazy. Next thing you know, I see Shaq. I said, man, can I say something to you? Because I saw him the day before. Now, I'm sticking out. I'm a young black dude. I'm like 20 years old. And then dealing with all these other big time media credentials, with these media people, Peter Vesey in there. This is really, it's going down. Man, I tell Shaq, can I say something to you? He's like, yeah. I was like, man, you shouldn't leave. You shouldn't leave the Magic. You and Penny could be the next Magic and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He just looks at me and laughs. Man, the next morning I wake up, Shaquille O'Neal has signed for whatever million, $10 million, $20 million. He's leaving it. He's leaving Disney Airs. He's leaving the Disney Airs to go to the lights of Hollywood and everything like that. So from that moment on, man, it was on. I tried to make my own magazine called the Full Court Press. I took all the promo pictures from the media guys they gave us.
Wow.
And try to make my own magazine. But in my religion, we have services every Sunday, and we drum, we sing and everything. So one of the priests at the time, the laws come down. Laws are forces of God. You go to church and people get touched by the Holy Spirit. Well, in voodoo, we understand what that is, because those are messages from the forces of God to help the people. I go show them the magazine. They like, nah, you can't do the magazine. So they like, and they explained to me why. It's like, there's no money in magazines. You have to get a lot of advertisement. But this is the key. They say you need to start a basketball league. It's 96, 6 years later, 2002, I start the Chosen League. 25 years later, you see where the Chosen League is at.
Indeed.
And that's part of the reason why I wrote this book. I wrote this book to tell people you can't give up on your dreams. And you just got to work hard, and you got to see what your path is. Because God got a different path for everybody. You understand? Like everybody can't be like Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James. There's a lot of other opportunities, and there's an opportunity for you to be the first of many of people that come behind you.
So, well said. Now, let's talk about, how you got involved with the EA Sports Roundball Classic and or with Sonny Vaccaro.
Well, that is a story within its own self. That just, like I tell people all the time, my story is about hard work and faith leads to success, but it's also about perseverance and not giving up. So in 2003, 2003, I had an opportunity to coach with Lutheran Christian Academy, which was a prep school here in Philadelphia, an inner city prep school. Basically, the model that you see Finley Prep use, where they go to school one place and then they play their own skit. They academically get situated here, then they play a national schedule. That's what we was.
Mm-hmm.
So our team at the time had 13 Division I recruits. Mississippi State, UTEP, man, so many. Florida Atlantic, we was crazy. Slam did the whole feature on us and everything like that. So that year, we played in the first Hoop Hall Classic, the one that goes on now during Martin Luther King weekend. We was one of the original teams in there because we was number 2 and we was number 1, but we ended up being number 2 because Laurinburg Prep ended up being number 1. Long story short, after that summer, all them guys graduated. So we had another team. So we went to the big time tournament in Vegas. We ended up getting in. What's my man's name? Damn it. How did I just lose that? Greg Olenpool. They played for the Speece Indy Heat. That was they was Reebok flagship program. Greg Odom, Mike Conley, Daquan Cook, Eric Gordon, they loaded. We just happened to get up in this pool now. We start winning in the pool. We had the 8 o'clock in the morning game. We start winning. You know, when you start winning, your sights start changing and everything like that. We get to play the Speece. When we walk in the gym, it's something I ain't never seen before at all. This is a full-blown production. We playing as Reebok #1 team. When we get there, my man Schofield, who was the head coach, now shout out to Darryl Schofield. Schofield saved so many young men lives in Philadelphia through basketball. The NCAA tried to railroad him, but he changed people, he changed families because of that basketball, because that basketball allowed these kids to go to school to graduate and everything like that. So long story short, when we get to the gym, Chris Rivers come up to me. I don't even know who Chris Rivers is at the time. He said, one of y'all got to be mic'd up because they were doing this big documentary on the ABCD camp. So Sko look at me, he's like, you the one that got to get mic'd up. So we playing against Greg Oden, and guess who's on our team? Just to segue. Lethal Shooter is on our team. Chris Matthews. Yes, on our team. He was in D.C. He ended up coming to our prep school. Chris Matthews, I talk to him probably 2-3 times a week. He would tell you the reason he got that scholarship to go to Washington State was because of that tournament that summer. Because I used to yell at him every time he touched the ball. I told him you had to shoot. I don't care where he was at. Shoot the ball. This is pre-Steph Curry and everything like that. Long story short, the Speece was blowing everybody out by like 20 that year during the tournament. We ended up losing to them by 12 and got a standing ovation because we was with them all the way rocking. So when the game is over, I believe in gaining resources. People talk a lot about network and connects. I believe in having resources. Because resources is something tangible that you could get. Sometimes your connect might not want you to do as well as them, or the connection might get broken. But if you have a resource, it's like plants. You can regrow a plant. You understand what I'm saying? So long story short, I get Chris Rivers' number. I email him during the course of the year. I'm at the Palestra one night. This is the Palestra. It is Episcopal Academy. Wayne Ellington and Gerald Henderson, who will both go on to be McDonald's All-Americans, go to Duke in North Carolina, national champions, 12 years career in the NBA versus Newman Goretti, Scoop Georgina, Rick Jackson.
I think I know this matchup. Okay.
I'm at the Palestra. Sutton tells me, Raheem, look to your left. I look to my left. Who do I see but Chris Rivers and Patrick Combs? I see Chris Rivers and Patrick Combs. I text them. That's when we had the two-way pagers and everything like that. Rivers turned around and look at me. He said, all right, after the game, he's like, you know, a good Mexican spot just happened to be up the block, was this place up the block from the Palestra called Mad Max. Went to dinner with him, told him I wanted to coach at the ABCD camp. He's like, I don't know if you could coach there, because I didn't realize the significant how big ABCD camp was. I knew it was big, but I'm thinking coaching. Because the summer before, I was working with Hoop Group, like I was telling you. I was doing so at Hoop Group, I was coaching, I was doing a bunch of different stuff. Rivers said, we're gonna keep you in mind. Him and Patrick Holmes said they're gonna keep me in mind. Maybe like 3 months later, I'm working Georgetown camp because we had a kid from our program named Mark Eggerson that went to Georgetown. So I asked the Georgetown coaches at the time, Kevin Brodus, who will go on to be the head coach at Binghamton, if I could work the camp. He's like, yeah. So I'm working Georgetown camp. This is Georgetown JT3. They are transitioning from the NI. Remember, they went through Don Thompson, Big John, rest in peace, to Greg Estrick. Now his son got the job. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So while I'm there, I get an email. I check, and this is my AOL email. It says, yo, can you be in Jersey next week to work the ABCD camp? I run to Miss Michaels, who you ever heard about, the legendary Miss Michaels, who's a trainer for Georgetown. I asked Miss Michaels, can I use your computer? She's like, Raheem, go ahead. Print it up, fax the stuff over. And then, man, next thing I know, the summer of 2006, Dave, was life-changing for me. I worked I left Georgetown camp, came back home, caught the bus from Philly to Jersey like you be doing. Got there, took a cab, because I didn't know where Philly Dickinson University was at. I didn't know where the hotel was at. Got in that cab, took that cab over to the hotel, and I walked in there, and I knew I had made it. I was like, this dreams are coming reality.
Wow.
When I went to go check in at the hotel, they gave me a whole packet. The hotel room key had ABCD logo. And next thing you know, man, it went from ABCD camp to working the big time camp the big time tournament. The tournament I was just at the year before as a coach. Now I'm a worker. From there to the McDonald's All-American game, to the Round Ball Classic, to the Elite 20, to the Elite 24, and everything just started moving like that, man.
Wow. That's big, man. It's a shame that the only sad thing about it is it's a shame that those events a lot of those events that you just mentioned are no longer in existence. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a shame that I never got a chance to see them.
Dave, you would have loved it because that was the beginning of the mixtape craze that you see. Like Hoop Mixtape, I was the one giving them guys credentials and stuff like that. Yeah. So, like, you got to remember the Hoop Mixtape, and what made it crazy with working ABCD camp, that's how me and Derrick Rose came cool. Because Derrick Rose is a Nike guy, and he ain't go to Nike camp that year. He came to ABCD camp because Derrick Rose was loyal to his team. So he wanted his whole team to go to camp so they could all be looked at by the colleges. Yeah. He ended up coming to ABCD camp because Sonny told Reggie, who's Derrick's brother, bring your whole team. And then from there, we came cool, and it was just been a magical run and everything. And I'm talking about, like, when I say my class is D. Rose, Beasley, OJ Mayo, Kevin Love, Brandon Jennings the following year, Drew Holiday. These are my group of guys and everything.
Yeah, and that 2007 class.
The 2006 and 2007, no, the 07 and 08 class, exactly.
Right. Wow,
so
man.
It's been amazing, yo.
So you were with them when they shot that documentary.
I'm in the
documentary. At the Rucker. Wow.
I'm in the doc. When they are leaving, I'm about to get the screen grab for you. So when they coming out the hotel, and you see Kevin Love about to go on the bus, I'm right behind him in my what? Remember, all white was my thing. I was dark skinned, so I realized with the cameras, no one's gonna never notice that's me if I'm wearing dark colors. So my trademark started becoming a white button-up shirt, a white collar shirt. So I'm right there. Yo, let me tell you a story about the first Elite 24. And if you ever see Chris Stone, he can verify everything what I'm saying. Chris Stone, runs Under Armour basketball, and now Stephon Curry runs Steph Curry brand. The day of the Elite 24, it started raining. So he came to me and Chris Rivers. He said, "What do you do?" So Rivers looked at me like, "Raheem, the one that runs." I said, "If it starts to rain at 7 o'clock, don't start the game at 7. Push the game up early and have the game start at 5 o'clock. The game started at 5 o'clock. The rain started coming with 2 minutes left in the game.
Wow. So y'all never got to finish the game.
No, we finished the game, but we avoided the rain. It started drizzling. So by the time the rain came, the game was already wrapping up. You know, that's the score of that game was like 141 to 127, something like that. So when them little drops started coming, they had got everything completed. Everything was completed. Because we moved the game up, like I told Stoney. I said, Stoney, move the game up. I said, because remember, the game was being promoted on Hot 97 and everything like that. And I'm like, it's the ruck.
So it had to be, it had to be played.
Yeah, so it had to be played, but I'm not, and plus it was too much because Stoney, people don't even know that Stoney took that game on by himself. He maxed out his credit cards because he was working with Rise Magazine and Boost Mobile Rise Magazine was the ESPN high school version. You remember?
Right, I remember.
And then
Rise
Boost was the sponsor, but it was only so much money they was giving. But Rivers, I mean, Stoney and Rivers, Stoney in particular, maxed out his credit cards. Remember, players were getting flown in from around the country. We were putting them up in hotels. Stoney didn't have no big old budget for that. And in the first 2 years, I wish my plaques are actually in my other room. The first 2 years, they was really on shoestring budget. And then from that, everything just spiraled and got bigger and bigger.
Wow, man.
There's so many. That's why I said the second book will come down on my birthday. Now, that's the book. See, this book right here shows my first 20 years. This is me being born and what I had to go through to get to the point. And it ends in 96. The next book goes from 96 up to 2006. No, excuse me. Up from 96 up to 2016. Because this is going to be a series of books and everything like that.
So wait, so basically the second book has already been completed. It's just coming out.
Yeah, it's not already complete. I'm finishing some finishing touches, but it'll be available on my birthday on August 29th.
All right, yeah, we already jumped too forward. All right, so let's rewind back a little bit. Like, let's get back to the origins of the Chosen League, which you started in 2002. You know what I'm saying? Let's start with that.
Man, well, the Chosen League started in 2002 because I told you my life been made like, all right, so I went to Drexel University, but I wasn't a full-time student at Drexel. I took night classes at Drexel. So I was at Drexel. I was working this program called the HMA Healthcare, which was an insurance company. HMA Healthcare Stars After School Program, where I was in charge of the site, homework programs and everything like that. The person who was in charge of it, rest in peace, Lana Felton Gee, was a big time political Democrat consultant in the city. She was the one that basically, she was a kingmaker. She did the fundraising. She helped with the mayors, the city council president, everything like that. So one day I was doing a good job I was doing a great job with my site. So one day she called me into her office. I thought I was in trouble, son. She was like, I see you very ambitious. I see that you're good with the paperwork. People talk highly about you. When you had your little, because I had got into like a little trouble or something like that. She's like, when you got into your little difficulties, you didn't really let it bother you. You was honest about what you contributed to it. You took accountability for what you did. So she was like, would you like to work for the future mayor of the city? So I'm like, what? So at the time, that's John Street. You know, Beanie Siegel, we run the city like the city of John, whatever. So I'm like, yeah. She's like, you're going to work in the fundraising department. Now, this all connects, Dave. So I'm like, okay. So when I go work in the fundraising department, it's one of the most amazing years of my life. Amazing. Because I'm learning, I'm in politics. I'm going to these fundraisers where it's like $10,000 a plate, $40,000. I'm meeting all the power brokers of the city. Then on top of that, the 76ers are winning. The power brokers, I'm dealing with all these law firms. These dudes got season tickets. I'm going to the playoff games. This is the first year the Sixers made the playoffs before they made that run. So I'm seeing Allen Iverson becoming this icon. And I'm messing with the mayor of the city, the future mayor of the city. The most important thing was I learned fundraising, which equals sponsorships.
Right.
So he wins the election. I don't know what job to pick. I'm like, I don't have no. So they're like, we're going to send you to the Philadelphia Parking Authority. I end up working in the ticketing department. So while I'm working, so mind you, I'm still a slam. I still got my slam promo thing. Remember, I'm still in the basketball game. Allen Iverson has his celebrity weekend that weekend. He has a celebrity weekend. I do the promo for it, the slam and everything like that. Long story short, one day I go off for work. I'm going to the after school program because I'm still working the after school program. I'm riding my bike across the street, Dave. I get hit by a Jeep, a Land Rover. You know the N and the D and the R and the O and the V. That John got pushed back to the window, to the glass, the driver's glass. Oh. I went from Brewer and Venango to Brewer and Erie. I got hit. I should have died. For real shit. So I'm working for the parking authority. God works in mysterious ways. My, what they call it, my insurance and everything like that, my benefits had kicked in. So I was able to get the surgery and I was able to get paid for the time off. The time off that I'm getting paid, the Sixers make their run to the NBA Finals. They make it. So it's like this perfect synergy, but I'm rehabbing my knee because I get hit. So my sister ends up getting married. We go on this cruise. While we on the cruise, having the time of my life, I get some news. My grandmother dies. My grandmother dies. When we get off the boat, I find this out. We go down south to the funeral. People always talking about, man, your grandmother was so proud of you, this, that, and the other. Da, 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 da. I get a phone call from my homie. Yo, man, we need to start a basketball league up at the park. Mind you, remember I told you in 96, I got that message, start a basketball league. I'm like, all right, bet. When we get back, Dave, I go to the rec center. I holler at Jerry Gold. May God bless him. When I told him I want to start a basketball league, the first thing he said, Dave, was no. Because the last basketball league that was at 10th and Nominee previously ended in violence. I'm like, look, man, I ain't doing no adult league. I'm doing a high school league. I'm going to have games for high school. It's going to be 2 divisions, 8th to 10th grade, and then 11th to 12th grade. He's like, all right, you can do the league, but you're not going to have access to the building. He leaves every night at 7 o'clock. I'm not going to be able to get nothing. Only access I'm going to have is to the court. Dave, I ain't know nothing about running no basketball league. I ain't think about the referees. I ain't think about the score. All I knew about was the scorebook, and that's it. I ain't think about no sponsorships and getting T-shirts and stuff like that. So my man Brian Corsi, who I knew from Drexel, who played with Kobe Bryant in high school on the circuit teams, his uncle used to have us work for him on the weekends, give us little odd jobs, landscaping, carrying bags. I go to Brian, I'm like, yo, can your uncle sponsor the T-shirts? His uncle says, yeah. So I'm riding Brian on this joint. I show up to his uncle office one day, like, I need the money for the thing. His uncle had forgot all about it. He ends up giving me $1,500. I get the T-shirts. Long story short, 2002, the first day of the Chosen League, I got the T-shirts at 4 o'clock. I took the bus and the subway back from down South Street all the way up to 10th and Nominee. People, my man Sheen calling me, look, man, the people are here, they ready to start. I'm like, yo, don't do nothing. Don't start nothing till I get there. I got the T-shirt. This is my baby. Hey, this gotta be right and everything like that. Man, when I get there, the league starts, and you would never guess. It was a team that was supposed to be in the league, and I told them they couldn't be in the league. It was Mustafa Shakur, who was at McDonald's All American at the time. I told him I didn't want him to play in the league because he was going to be playing AAU. He's like, nah, I'm going to be here. This is my neighborhood team. This is my neighborhood. I got to play. Mustafa played every game. And 2002 took off because quiet as kept. The biggest game that year was a guy that y'all now know as arguably the greatest Toronto Raptor of all time. Villanova, 2-year early candidate, Olympic gold medalist, NBA championship, Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry was at Northeast High School. He was in 10th grade. He played against Mustafa. I'm like, who is this kid? Next thing you know, the league just went 2002, 2003, 2004, and then it just because the word started going out, it was a players' league, and players was able to bring their own teams. They was able to coordinate their own thing, and then you look at us now, 19 years later, and it's just been an amazing ride. That's why I had to write this book because it's my legacy. Like it's documented. You go on YouTube, you go on Google, it's articles written about me, but no one never heard me talk about it like this. And that's one thing about the pandemic that's been good, is that giving me a chance to really like write memoirs and like really stuff. Like I just got an email about something I'm gonna be doing in regards to the NBA lockout game, because this is gonna be the 10-year anniversary of that lockout game I did at the Palestra and everything.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up too. 2011, the lockout. Let's talk about that. That historic game at the Palestra.
Give me 1 second.
All right.
All right. Well, that was amazing. That is like my shining moment. It also showed who was with me, who was against me. Because the story behind that is, remember, the lockout happened that summer. So I was at the Danny Rumpf tournament. My man Mike Morek, you've been to the Rumpf tournament.
Yeah.
And we was there. Let me just start there. Mike Morek is my main man. You know how you say in New York they ain't unified? That's every city. There's issues. So people was trying to divide me and Mike with the Rumpf tournament in the Chosen League. The Chosen League is a high school basketball league.
Right.
That's what it's always been. Nothing else. You have never seen me do no college league, nothing like that. If I do anything adult wise, it was like ball up, the lockout game, it'd be events, not a league or a tournament. You understand what I'm saying? So that was the year my man Q refereed for me, brought me and Mike together, because people was telling me Mike was talking about me. People was telling Mike that I was talking about him. And I wasn't worried about what nobody else was doing, because I was building the Chosen League. We was moving. You understand what I'm saying? We was moving. Long story. And by that time I had my Nike deal, so I wasn't worried about what nobody else was doing. So when I go to Mike joint, Mike is rocking. This is before the Rumpf went to the college university. They in Mallory Rec Center. So while I'm there, my man old head Joe pulled up on me. He was like, yo, you need to think about doing a lockout game. So at the time, it's really not on my head. But Miles, God works out right. That's why I say God is just amazing, yo. Miles hits me up, who runs the Goodman League, and it was like, yo, Philly, because I did an event with Miles with Red Bull down there. He's like, we doing a game versus Drew League, the capital punishment game. He said, if you come down, I got you. So me and my man Marty at the time, we ride down to DC. Now, I didn't realize Miles was having like 3 games before the main game. So when we got down there at Trinity College, the line is all the way, you know how when you came to the park?
Yeah.
Think of the park. When you come out the park, this thing going all the way up, like 4 blocks up. That's how long the line is. So I hit Miles. I'm like, Miles, I'm not standing in line for this. He's like, man, just come to the front. Come to the front. Miles see me, he brings me in.
Miles Rose.
Yeah, Miles from the Goodman League. So Miles bring me in. He's like, look, Philly. He's like, I can't tell you where to sit at. He's like, you got to find your own seat, but you in here. No sooner does he say that, I turn around, I see my Nike director, Chad Eastland. Chad, like, I'm not going to sit in my seat. You might as well sit in my seat. His seat is courtside. The game between, what's the two teams, Team Takeover and DC itself, high school game is ending. I'm walking in when the game is ended. So the next game is what? The Goodman League versus Drew League. So I do my little, you know how it is, do my little talks in the lobby, hey, da-da-da. As I'm walking in the court now, because I got Chad's seats, as I'm walking, that's that picture when you see Durant, Beer hugs me. What are you doing here? I'm like, this is going to be popping today. I sit courtside. So as I'm watching the game, I'm like, yo, we got to do one of these in Philly. We got to do one of these in Philly. Sutton says, Raheem, look at your phone. Dave, when I look at my phone, it's an ESPN alert. The alert is Carmelo Anthony and Hakeem Warwick are arguing about who has the best players, Baltimore or Philly. I'm looking at my phone like this as John Wall and James Harden and Kevin Durant and Brandon Jennings and DeMar. I'm like, we could do this shit in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
The game is over. We go back to John Wall crib because remember I know John Wall back from the Reebok days, the Reebok U and everything. Like go mess with him a little bit. On the way back, I'm in the car. I DM Skinny brother on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and I DM Skinny. I DM Skinny. Skinny tell me contact his brother. Talk to his brother. His brother gives me in contact with his guy that his day-to-day relations manager from the agency, Bill Duffy agency. My man Jamal Smiley from New York. Smiley calls me. He tells me, I tell him to pitch. I'm like, yo, y'all don't got nothing to worry about. Because I had already started putting together. I had talked to Chad. Nike said they would do everything. Remember, that summer with BBNS, basketball never stopped.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Nike deal. They was going to do everything. Uniforms, everything. I talked to Sneaker Villa. They was going to handle all the advertisements. The main part was the location. I had reached out to Jerome Allen, who was the head coach at Penn at the time. I told him I needed the Palestra. He like, I bet you're going to have to meet with them. Because even though he was the head coach of the university, he's not in charge. He's not in charge of the venue. I tell Smiley my pitch. Smiley like, all right, if you can get all that together, this could possibly happen. Talk to Pooh that Tuesday. He has me meet with the people at Penn. They give me a little bit of a hard time because they didn't really believe what I was going to say. They tell me what the price is going to be. I go raise the money up, put a deposit down, tell Smiley I'm about to put his deposit down. They commit to the game. Mello commits to the game. Skinny commit. They tell me what they want. Mello 125 for his charity. Skinny 125 for his charity.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Get the Palestra. Get everything done. Hit Smiley. Smiley hits me back. He says, Mello bringing everybody. I said, what? He said, he bringing everybody. He bringing LeBron. He bringing CP3. KD filmed the movie down in New Orleans. I mean, New Orleans, in Louisiana. If he can make it, he's coming. But LeBron, Melo, CP3 are definitely playing. Skinny, remember, he worked for Bill Duffy agency at the time. Mm-hmm. That's when Melo was represented by Bill Duffy.
Right.
Skinny says he's going to take care of the whole Philly thing. I just got to do what I do. I got to produce the event, make sure an organized event, marketing and promotions, the slam letter. That was in the end of August, September 20th, I think is the exact date. We had that game. It was amazing. It is still to this day my crowning achievement because I could tell people LeBron only played in the Palestra and at the Wells Fargo Center. I could say I'm one of the few people in here that could say I beat LeBron. Because the first time LeBron played in the Palestra, he was at the Sherbet Mansion. That's when he crossed. That's when Maurice Rice crossed him over. But St. Vincent St. Mary blew them out by 40. We beat them. And that game, and the reason the game was that day, because the Eagles played against the Giants that day. So the Eagles game was at 1:00. That game ended. Our game started at 6. LeBron and them was late because they was at that game. That's how I met World Wide West. Because Nike, Lynn Marriott told West, make sure this game happened. Give Rahim the support. Because remember, that's when West was the mystery at the time. So he called me. He was like, look, you know how West talk very loud. Don't worry, LeBron them coming. The football game is over. I got a phone call. They on their way. They came through like the president. 3 blackout Suburbans. Now, mind you, the whole Philly team is in the Palestra already. Kyle Lowry. This is Houston Rockets Kyle Lowry. This is before he comes an NBA All-Star. Lou Williams. This is Lou Williams before he comes 6th man of the year. This is 76ers Lou Williams, who's starting to evolve. Remember, the Philly team wasn't as powerful name-wise. Tyreke Evans really was our star at the time because he was the rookie of the year. Man, them guys walked in that building. That place erupted. And the story people don't know about it, and I still got the jersey framed to this day, was I was talking to my man Nico the whole time because Kobe was trying to get back from Barcelona to play in the game. His number 24 jersey. That's why every year I always put that. I had everything set up for him, and he was really trying to get back. But because of the lockout, they extended his European tour of the promotion of his sneaker. But he really was trying to get back. And all I kept thinking was, Kobe walks in here during the 3rd quarter, or at any time it's going to be an earthquake on the East Coast. And it was just an amazing day, man. That game was streamed on Sports Illustrated. And now we coming up on the 10-year anniversary of it. And it's like a lot of people are interested in, what's next and everything like that.
Yeah, well, I'm sure a lot of people would love to see that duplicated in some type of way.
That right there, Dave, I'll be honest with you, because of that summer, that would never happen again because it was too much. The NBA Players Association got involved. Like it was insurance policy that had to be taken out now. It would never happen again like that. Because remember, I was let me just make this clear to your viewers. My league is a high school summer basketball league. I did a game with the Olympic. All right, we got one MVP, LeBron James. We got two NBA Finals champions, LeBron James, Kyle Lowry. We got six man of the year, who arguably might be the best six man of all time, Lou Williams. We got Chris Paul. You got about 4 Hall of Famers in that game. Chris Paul, LeBron James, Kyle Lowry, and Carmelo Anthony, who just came top 10 scorer of all time. You got rookies. You got Wayne Ellington, who played in that game, NCAA champion. You got AO from the N1 Tour, street ball. You got Mark Tinsdale, who's an assistant coach now for the Toronto Raptors, NBA champion. You got Marty Collins, who played a 10-year career in the NBA. You got Dante Green, who had a great 1 year at Syracuse. So and then remember the second game we played was down DC. When we went down DC and we beat DC, remember Philly, we went 2-0 during the lockout. And when we went to DC, we beat Kevin Durant, John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, Nolan Smith, Jared Jack. So like to see that happen again, the only way that would happen again, it would have to be like TNT,
another lockout,
the NBA, the NBA Players Association. So that was like lightning in a bottle and everything like that.
So it's like, so it was that going on. And of course, in New York, we had Team Nike.
Yeah, which was a crazy, what PR and them did, that was a legendary moment, man. Because one thing I respect, that was Shep, that was, man, that right there.
Bingo and 10 guys, man.
Bingo, and know what made it crazy? That's why that lockout game, because y'all was killing it in New York that summer. Like y'all was killing it because Team 9, that's when Dykeman got rejuvenated, like became this monster that is uncontrollable to this day. Shout out to my man Kenny Stevens and everything like that.
No, like that was crazy. Like I feel like being that it is Dykeman was a Nike tournament. I feel like, and if in all the Nike officials, if y'all watching this is what I believe, that something should be done for that 10-year anniversary because the coach is still alive, all the players are still alive. Why not do something for them while they're still here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it is needed.
Knowing them, they probably got something up their sleeve.
Right.
Like I got something up my sleeve with a couple of things. It's just that, with this pandemic, you don't want to
that's true.
and making no announcements about something.
Exactly. Like, they probably
remember last summer was a hurt piece for everybody because everybody was having the glimmer of hope we was gonna have something, and it didn't happen. Now there were still leagues that ran in different tournaments and everything like that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the same. Give me 1 second, Dave. Because this is actually, while we talking on the phone, there's a lot of this.
Good. So we were just talking about, nah, you're right though. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they do have something in the works. But I feel like being that it's 10 years later, it needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's still around, doing well. I think it's fair. Because I'm also Dykeman has their 30, because last year, because of the pandemic, they couldn't really do anything. So also, this year will be the 30th anniversary for Dykeman. So all those together would be wonderful. You know what I'm saying? And if it does happen,
that's the thing about it. That would make summer basketball what it is these legendary moments that people that can't afford to really go to these NBA games and college games. Because remember, going to an NBA game going to cost you $100 minimum for one person. You understand what I'm saying? And going to a college game is expensive also.
That's
So
true.
getting these guys to play in these communities like that and everything, it's just amazing. That's why just looking at the future moving ahead post-pandemic, well, not even post-pandemic, because we're still in it, it's just getting underneath a little bit more control. It's just interesting to see the directions that all the different leagues around the country going.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, now you won't see the superstar players coming to the tournaments as much, unless they're indoors. But even then, you know what I'm saying? Like these guys are making money now that will set them up for the rest of their lives, you know. So
But you know, you can't really say that, Dave, because you know what? Last year at the Rump tournament, Jason Tatum played in it.
No, I'm talking about the outdoor league.
Well, you got to think about with the outdoor leagues. See, this is the thing though, with outdoor leagues and this is something that I had to do because remember I went from outdoor to indoor, and the best example I can tell people is like going from CDs to the auxiliary court. You got to take the health of the player, and it's not like before when people just hooped all day long and they didn't think about the health benefits. Now you look at the guys that played on them concretes as they got older in life, their bodies started breaking down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's happening even now with AU with kids playing 3-4 games a day. So now it's so much of a business now. If you're a star athlete, you have to really watch where you play at.
Yeah, exactly.
And watch the things you do because kids are being projected as pros as young as 8th, 7th grade, which I'm against. You know how I feel about that.
And that's why I don't deal with middle school because of that.
Right, exactly. I don't think kids should even be ranked until their 11th grade year because you don't know what a kid how he might change his mind. You understand what I'm saying? So with that, it just comes an interesting thing, and what your viewers need to understand because time evolves and time changes. You understand what I'm saying? And as time evolves and time changes, you got to keep movement. Like you got to think about me and you are talking through a computer. You're in New York, I'm in Philadelphia, and we're looking at each other. 20 years ago, FaceTime would have been something that would have blew everybody's mind. So you have to advance and change with the times. And that's the thing that I think that always keep us relevant, that kept me relevant, is that I've always I can't get caught up in what it was. You gotta get caught up in what it is. If you don't get caught up in what it is, you're gonna get left behind.
That's true. That's a fact. And speaking of the park, I miss Cherry Shore Playground, man. The atmosphere was crazy at the park. Matter of fact, yeah, the two, I want to say the 2 years that I went to the Chosen League, oh man, I still got goosebumps when I think about that, man.
Those are some good days. Dave, I still think about it because I know that one year you came, I think it was the 15 Chosen game when we had Lamar Stevens.
Yeah, that was it, 2016.
You got to think about how many draft picks, how many college players of the years was in that game. I miss it too, but you know what happened, Dave, to be honest with you? We outgrew the park because the players was getting too big. The court was just too small. Remember, it was never a regulation style court. And that was the issue was like that last year when we had that championship game, when we all won the championship, they had Eric Dixon, 6'9", who went to Villanova. They had Andre that went to Ryder, that was 6'8". They had Bones, who was 6'5", who's the Atlantic 10 Player of the Year. They had Isaiah Wong, who 6'5" Player of the Year, who declared for the draft. They had Isaiah Wong, 6'4", all ACC at University of Miami. You understand what I'm saying? The court, it just came. It was like the safety of the players, and that concrete was not given. You understand what I'm saying? That was real live concrete. And just the kids for them to play, for us to be outside for 15 years and not have no violent incidents, no shoot them up, shut the league down. Like we had one incident that happened around the park, not inside the park. Just knock on wood. Like I'm just happy that God allowed me to do them 15 years. But like I said, I had to go from a CD to iTunes. I had to make an adjustment, or I was going to lose some players. And then when we went indoors, it wasn't the same energy with the guys because people were still stuck on tensionality because of the summertime feel, the barbecue, the food, the whole atmosphere. But what did I do? I pulled them girls out, and you saw what happened. You that thing ricocheted up and down the East Coast. You remember Nike came out 3 times. The tournament was only 5 days, and they was there for 3 to 5. Remember, we had Diamond, who went to Rutgers, who's playing USA basketball now.
Shout out to Diamond Johnson.
Diamond Johnson from Rutgers, who averaged 18 a game off the bench, who transferred to North Carolina State, who, as of right now, is on the under-19 USA basketball team. We had Jayla. We got, because our girls thing, that's where, like, the push I'm really giving now, because you got to think about it. One of the most legendary female basketball players of all time is Dawn Staley, who probably will go in the Hall of Fame as a coach now when she's already in there as a player. So it's like, it's my job to make sure this Philadelphia basketball tradition continue to move. And that's why with my wife's book, It's Time to Comb Your Hair, that's why that's so important to me. We got the girls division now. So now we got these little black girls growing up who can see they could be whatever they want to be, but they could be beautiful within their skin and everything like that. And that's why with me and my wife, that's why we did these books, Choose Wisely. And because one thing we try to bring back is literacy. Like, people need to go back and reading books, taking time out their day to read a book, or a couple of days to read a book to enhance your vocabulary.
Exactly.
Everything is so quick on the iPhone and text that we don't even take the time to just sit back and just isolate ourselves from the noise outside.
That's a fact, man. And honestly, I feel like your wife and daughter's book might give Chris Rock's Good Hair a run for its money.
But that's where he was, right. And that's where we coming from with that. But like I said, Dave, I really appreciate you having me on your show. People could buy the book, Choose Wisely, which is my story. You get it from Amazon. Time to Comb Your Hair. You can get it from Amazon. But like I said, Dave, I want to just give you, as Nori was saying on Drink Champs, I'm going to give you your flowers while you're here, just to see your growth, just to see how consistent you stay, just to see you graduating from college and your position that you have at the school that you work at, just to see how you balance the both of these and everything like that, Dave. It's just amazing. You make me proud. I know your grind. You would get on the bus and come to Philly. That's why when you would come to Philly, I would always make sure you got to that bus station. You wasn't taking no train or nothing like that. We always make sure you was fed, you had gear. Remember, I always wanted to make sure you was there, because I seen the grind, because I saw me and you, because I grinded like that. You understand what I'm saying? And just to see that you got 120 some odd episodes, you don't get 120 as nothing if you're not legit. You understand what I'm saying? You don't get 100 of nothing if people don't respect what you're doing. You don't get someone like me to come on, and I'm not trying to brag about me, but I don't come on everything. You understand what I'm saying? I don't do everything. Like, for instance, we just did the interview that was posted by Red Bull. Slam, we're going to be in the new Slam thing. I'm real selective about the media outlets I go to.
You have to be, yeah.
Because I don't know how that message going to go out. I don't know who your audience is. You understand? Like, you can't go on everything. Like, I can't go on the Wendy Williams show. That's not my audience. you understand what I'm saying?
No, you do have a point, yeah.
Right. So you got to be careful
with who you
do, because you want to make sure your brand continues to grow. But when you go on these things, you want the person that you're dealing with, you want their brand to grow too, because we all come up together, we're going to be okay. And that's why I said, Dave, I just want to thank you for giving me some time today to get on here, because I was looking, because I've been extremely busy, Dave, like extremely busy with working on my priesthood, like really studying, really coming more of a servant of God and everything like that. That's why you haven't heard so much about the Chosen League, because I know you're probably wondering what direction we go in Chosen League. I'm keeping that underneath wraps, because I'm just trying to make sure I'm not jumping out here. Like, I talked to Kenny earlier. He's declared that he's coming out this summer. Miles is coming this summer. And I'm looking at everybody like, I'm just taking my time right now. Because I know when I come, I got to come correct. You understand? I can't come back the same way I was before the pandemic, because I'm not the same person I was before the pandemic. So if I'm not the same person I was before the pandemic, I can't come back on the same, we're going to do this, do that. And then, as you know, Fadon's gym has closed. So, like, there's different locations that we're looking at.
Wait, hold up. So Fadon, so they're closed permanently?
That site where they was at, they no longer at that site no more.
Wow.
Because that building, that structure, like, the pandemic affected a lot of people. You understand what I'm saying? Wow. So there are things that me and Pooh are talking about. There are different, like it's a lot of moving pieces because you just don't know it's the uncertainty of where we at, and that's one of the reasons why I did the book, because the story has to keep going. The pandemic can't kill what's still moving. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why, like, with what you're doing and everything like that, I'm very happy for you. Like, I look at Dave Joints because I don't know how you be finding the shit you find. I don't know. Like, I'm like, how is he finding shit from the Boston shootout? Like, how is he finding these rosters with Jamal Mashburn? How's he finding the original ABCD camp from Princeton? I'm like, Dave, your ability to find this information is amazing, and that's why I said I had to come on here and talk about my book, talk about my wife's book. I had to come on here because I'm like, these are the platforms that I like going on where it's a conversation. And it's like, because I got some media outlets that have reached out to me. Like, that's why you keep seeing me look at my phone, because there's a couple of things that people keep reaching out to me about. And I'm like, I got to make sure everything fit because I worked too hard. 19 years of doing this. No one gave me nothing.
Yeah.
When you read the book, with your viewers, when they go read the book, and they can get it either in the Kindle version or the paperback version.
Yeah.
When they read the book, they're gonna see like, yo, nothing was given. Remember, I wasn't no star basketball player. I have no major backing or nothing like that. I have a home that went to the NBA, and I happen to have access to. I had to earn all my resources. That's why I was telling kids the other day on Monday, and I'm gonna end this on that. I'm gonna end the interview on that because I know we have went a long time and everything.
No, that's cool. I had a couple more questions anyway.
All right, so bet. So, but let me just say this last part, and then like let's get the next three because then I got some stuff I gotta do myself.
All right, yeah.
Like I was telling people, like I was talking to a group of kids on Monday, it was like you have to keep moving no matter what, and you have to gain your own resources. You don't always want to be known as that's Raheem Man or that's Dave Ball. You gotta have your own identity, yo. Because when you talk, people are going off of what you doing. I can't say I know Derrick Rose, he was an MVP, or I knew Brand. That's nice, but Raheem, what are you doing? Like that, and that's what you did. You took control of your situation. You made Dave's joint. This is yours, and that's why I respect it so much.
Yeah, man, indeed. So yeah, this is one of the questions I love. This is the segment that I love to bring up before I lead up to the final question.
All right, bet.
If you could go back in a time machine to 1996, what would you tell 20-year-old Raheem as he's interning for Slam magazine? He's going to Disneyland and meeting the Dream Team. What would you tell 20-year-old Raheem at that time?
I would tell 20-year Raheem, don't get caught up in the partying of the lifestyle. That's what I would tell him. Because one thing I did do was I did party a lot. Like I like going to the club. I like going out. I like going in and having the VIP section. I like when I walked in the club, people knew I was associated with the players. I would tell 20-year Raheem, focus on building your brand more and not trying to be because one thing that held me back for a long time was I was associated with a lot of stuff instead of having full control of my stuff. Because as I'm older, I look back, I'm like, there's a lot of things I would have did differently. Like I have had success, no doubt about that. God has blessed me. But there's opportunities that I messed up because of partying, trying to be cool with everybody. And that's something that I tell kids all the time. Instead of me just going like this, it was like certain things, all right, man, it was certain deals that I took I shouldn't have took because really if I would have held out and had more confidence in myself, I wouldn't have took them deal and it probably would have spiraled into something better. So I would tell Raheem Thompson, 20-year-old Raheem, know who you are. Know your value. Yeah, you don't have no money in your pocket right now, but know your value because you bring value to the table. And the people that's offering these prices to you, they know your value. But they offering this to you just to see what you would do.
In other words, don't just take the money. Go chase.
Take the money.
Don't chase
And
the
that's one
money.
thing.
Chase the
And that's one
opportunity.
thing I was good at. One thing I was good at. I didn't take money from. Cause like, let me tell you the story. Crazy story. The first year of the Chosen League, I had one of the biggest dope dealers in the city come to me. He said that he wanted to give me $20,000 for the league. Mind you, I have no sponsors. I told him no. 2 weeks later, cover the Daily News, he's being indicted. The Chosen League would have been done before the Chosen League even got started. Because that 20 grand, that would have been, the feds would have went on that money. That's illegal. That's illegal funds.
Wow.
So that's why I would tell 20-year-old Raheem, don't get caught. And this is the thing I tell you about. Enjoy it. Cause I enjoyed the life. Don't get me, Dave. You gotta understand. I was working with Reebok. I'm working with this one. I know NBA players. I got access to this. There's so many doors opening up, but some of the doors I shouldn't have went through. But do I have regrets about it? No, because I'm older. And one thing about God gives you an opportunity to make up for something that you might have thought you lost, as long as you acknowledge that you was the reason it was lost.
Indeed. Well said. Final question. What's next in the future for Raheem Thompson and the Chosen League?
The next thing in the future for Raheem Thompson and my family is becoming some world-renowned authors and motivator speakers. Being out here promoting my religion, voodoo, changing the stereotype of voodoo, of this scary thing, to like letting people know that Black people know this is our culture. This is what we come from. We come for the drums. We are spiritually in tune people. You understand what I'm saying? That's what my next goal is. The goal is to just make voodoo as respected as Islam is, as Christianity is. Like, remember today, the end of Ramadan. Muslims around the world are being respected for that. You understand what I'm saying? It's some stigma to Islam, like a stigma to voodoo. But overall, you see what you say, that good Muslim brother. So hopefully one day you be like, that's that good voodoo brother. That's that good voodoo sister right there. The future of the Chosen League is getting this gym, man. That's what it's all about now. I'm trying to get it. I'm in the process of raising money to get a gym so the Chosen League could have a home, and it could be a home of basketball, but not just basketball, of volleyball, of cheerleading, a place where people, when they see the Chosen League, they can look at the Chosen, because you know how I'm big on family. So they can see this is the Chosen League home, where you could come and you can have your events at, you can have your family reunion, you can have your games there and everything like that. So that's where I'm at with this, Dave. I'm just getting older, a little wiser. That's why the book called Choose Wisely. I'm just more calculated now, not moving as fast and everything as I used to, because I got 2 daughters. They wrote a book. You understand what I'm saying? They got a legacy to look up to. I'm not trying to have my daughters work for anybody. I'm trying to have them work for us. I'm trying to have them work for this last name that we have built.
Indeed. Raheem, thank you for coming on to share your story. And I wish you and the family and all your endeavors nothing but the best.
Man, Dave, I can't wait to see you. All your viewers, may God shower you and your viewers from the top of their head to the bottom of their feet with blessings, with good health, good prosperity, but the most important thing, mental strength. Because this time we're going through is your mind more than anything. So, and like I said, please go to Amazon.com, support me and my wife's book, Choose Wisely. It's time to comb your hair. It's $15. You can buy them together. They actually are together as a package on there. It's good reading. This is definitely good for the little girls, because little girls don't like getting their hair done. But our Black princesses and queens, they're beautiful and everything. And this book right here, basketball is the vocal point, but this is just about perseverance and not giving up on your dreams and everything like that. Dave, I really appreciate you having me on your platform. And I look towards seeing you again, my brother.
Indeed. Well, everybody, this is episode 123 of Hoops Talk with Dave's Joint. Shout outs to my man Raheem Thompson for coming on to talk to us today. Go cop his family book. It's time to comb your hair and choose wisely. And also for those of you from the city of Philadelphia, and for those of New York, and everybody in the basketball community that supports Raheem, go check out this interview on YouTube, Facebook, and IGTV. Stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.
Thank you, Dave.